Good morning. It is 6:21. I've been up since 5:30. This feels like the first day of school in a lot of ways. When my kids started school on Claire's birthday, August 11th, that was also the day that my husband had steak stuck in his throat, and we made an emergency trip to the hospital, and he had surgery to have it removed. He's having his throat stretched this week. His esophagus stretched. We didn't know that was a thing, but apparently that's a thing. If you're getting food stuck in your throat, quite often you might need to get that checked out. But August 11th was their first day of school. My kids went 3 days and then were quarantined for 3 weeks. And so they came home. And then they went back to school 3 days and then quarantined again for 3 weeks. And then they went back to school for 2 days, and then they had fall break for 2 weeks. So, let me just say, I know for the most part, this is unprecedented. For the most part, most people are really wanting to do what's best for all involved. But I'm optimistic that today's, in a lot of ways, the first day of school. And our board has decided to no longer do the quarantining the way they were. They were quarantining kids left and right. And if this kid in that class knew someone that tested positive, then all these kids had to stay home, and these kids had to stay. It got to be mental gymnastics, trying to figure out who has been in contact with who and who. Let me put it this way. 2 of my kids have had 0 symptoms, never did test positive, perfectly healthy, missed 27 out of their first 34 days of school. That's 79.4% of their first and their 4th grade school years so far. This is the third school year that's getting disrupted with this, and these my husband and I taught special education. Human beings have one opportunity to develop. So I'm glad for them to get back into school today. I'm optimistic that we'll get rolling, and we won't be on this 3 days on, 3 weeks off schedule like we have been up until this point. That's how my son feeds cattle every morning on his dirt bike. Good morning, Clyde the Border Collie. Oh, you stay out there, okay? Did you sleep well? You probably like this cooler weather. I'll be back with you. Very, very interesting mentality that I just caught. Here it is, October 17th. We have 14 days until October 31st. We have 2 weeks. 2 weeks of October left, 14 days. And I caught myself after somewhat of a whirlwind this past week thinking, okay, all right, 14 days, 14-day challenge, 14 days. How can I do this? I'm going to finish October strong. What are those? Those are white knuckles. That is old way mentality. That's the old way. That is looking behind me on my journey, seeing places where I might have struggled my way through, and viewing it through, seeing it in such a way that shines a negative light on it, as if those struggles weren't what got me here, as if those struggles weren't part of my journey, as if those struggles just, we can see things in such different ways. We can see them with in a very positive light, very helpful light, very healing light, or in a negative, with a negative connotation, as if, all right, I've been on a hike and it's been rough, so from here on out it's gonna be smooth. And that is a very destructive, a very futile pursuit, and I will be surrendered right now. I was about to say I'll be surrendered the next 14 days. That's missing the point. We cannot surrender in the future. We can only surrender right now. So I will not finish October strong. I will aim to finish October surrendered. I can only surrender right now today. I'm surrendered right now. This is not my strength, but his. I'm not depending on my strength. It's in my weakness his strength is shown. And it's when I'm weak, I'm strong. So hallelujah. So nice to know we don't have to depend on ourselves. My hair's fuzzy. Back from delivering gifts, time to break the fast. But before I break the fast, I'm going to break the dehydration with this. I'll drink both of these today, and I'll drink down to here before breakfast. Proverbs 16:3-9. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Let us walk by faith, not by sight. Walking by faith takes faith. With my kids in school for the first time in a long time, I looked around and with my eyes could see so many messes. But instead of doing the obvious and cleaning up the messes around me, I've discerned that the best thing I could do is start cooking for my family. I even texted Charlie and asked him if anything sounded good. He said yes, vegetable beef soup. I've never made vegetable beef soup, which means I've got a learning curve here. When we serve our families, we're giving them gifts. I'd much rather give someone a gift that they want. So instead of doing what was on my agenda, which was to clean the house, I'm going to make this soup for Charlie and have faith. Have faith that the table will get cleaned off. It'll have to if we want to eat at it. I'm fixing to fix a bunch of vegetable beef soup. I'm going to do myself a favor and make 2 pots. One for my family following the recipe and one for me where I give myself the right amounts of the right food category. So in my soup pot, there's going to be 28 ounces of vegetables, and I'll do the same thing with my protein. I'll just double it. I'll give myself all the tomato juice for free and cut the whole thing in half and have 2 dinners. Time for lunch. Cottage cheese and tomatoes. Thanks for the idea, Mom. Lunch was delicious and perfect and just the right amount, and before I even took my last bite, I started thinking about wanting more. No brain, no tally. Tally, tally, tally. 1 tally for that. So now I'm going to light my brain up, get some dopamine to release by getting a couple things checked off my to-do list. Let's go to the grocery, shall we? I have hit that afternoon wall. I will drink down to the second line and tally my way to dinner. So here I am in my apron chopping all these vegetables, realizing I haven't earned any more tallies since I started this, since I gave my brain something to focus on, something to light up about, something to be interested in. And as I'm chopping all these vegetables that I really did not even want to chop, I was like, oh my goodness, am I really gonna get into this? Yes, here I go. I asked Charlie what he wanted. This is what he wanted. And I felt spirit-led to follow through with this activity. I'm realizing as I chop these vegetables, it's no wonder people 100 years ago did not struggle with obesity the way we do now. 100 years ago, people were not only eating real food, but they were burning calories preparing it. Mine, my family's. Mine is all measured out like I need it to be, so that's 2 bright dinners. My family's has potatoes in it.
After this, I owe you $7 right now, but after this job, I'll owe you $2.
Okay, he's getting $5 to clean this table off. I knew it! I had faith the table's getting cleaned off. Now, Franklin, look at the name of this cat. Look at the tag and look at the name.
Tally.
Tally.
Oh.
Is that the perfect stuffed animal for me?
It is. It's named Tally, like every time you get a tally.
That's right. Speaking of tallies, I've earned 2 more. I'm so happy to report that was very rewarding taking the time to make that delicious meal. I've got leftovers for my family, another bright meal for myself. All of those dishes got washed, the table got cleaned off, and I even got to use my giant soup ladle. Plus, I spent lots of time with my kids hanging out here in the kitchen. Good night, you guys. Let's do this again. I'll see you on October 19th.